Good evening. I am so pleased and proud to be here with Westchester Democratic Club. You're doing a great job. You're increasing the membership. And I heard Sheila when she was shouting, resist. And so give yourselves a big round of applause. I'm pleased to be back at this church. We were here in December, I believe, when we did the Christmas party here with the club. Is Pastor Rude here this evening, do you know?
He's out of town.
He's out of town. Will you tell him I said thank you for allowing us to be here one more time. We are very pleased to be able to use this church for community activities, and he has been very generous. Don't forget to thank him for me. Give him a big round of applause also. Ladies and gentlemen, I was looking over the officer list, and I received this invitation from Travis, who is the treasurer. I understand he's not here this evening. And we are missing a president as of tonight, so I expect elections will be taking place soon.
We're acting forward searching.
Okay, for all of the officers, thank you for your work. I'm pleased that you invited me to be here with you this evening for a lot of reasons. There is a lot going on in our country, and we need to talk about it. As a matter of fact, it is abnormal what is going on in our country. And so I came this evening to share a few of my thoughts with you and tell you a little bit about what I understand is happening in the Congress of the United States. Before I came this evening, there was another breaking news item on television. They have discovered more information about Carter Page. Carter Page was an advisor to Trump in the campaign. He was a foreign affairs advisor. And what they learned was he has a lot of relations with the Russians. As a matter of fact, in the information that they gave out this evening, he'd even worked there for quite some time. But the reason that he is on focus is because when they had some Russians under surveillance, it just so happened that he ended up in the middle of their conversations, exchanging information, talking about things that certainly got the ear of our intelligence agencies. And so they went to the FISA court. That's the court you have to go to in order to get permission to put an American citizen under surveillance. And because of what they heard in those conversations, they put him under surveillance. And there is information that we still don't have that they have in our intelligence agencies. And I think information that perhaps our FBI director and our attorney general may have. And so more to come. But when you go home tonight, you're going to see the breaking news over and over again, particularly on CNN or MSNBC, where they're talking about this revelation and explaining it in ways that will help you to understand how he got under surveillance and some information about his connections to the Russians. Now, there's so much to talk about, you almost don't know where to start, except I think what we need to do first is focus on the budget that has been submitted to us by this president, because a budget is an indication of who the president is, what he cares about, and what he's willing to fight for. And even though they're referring to it as a skinny budget, he has sent us this budget, and of course, we get a chance as it goes before the appropriations committees to try and fight for what we care about and what we think this country should be supporting. It's not going to be easy because, as you know, Democrats are in the minority in the House and in the Senate, and you know who's occupying the White House. And so we're in a very difficult situation. But as Sheila was saying to you, in everything that we do, we've got to resist the direction that this administration would carry us in. We cannot afford to have a country, a democracy, run by Trump and this administration, because it will not be a democracy if it is run in the way that they would like to see it run. So, if you would get some water, I would appreciate it. I still have laryngitis, but as I said when I was at the rally in Washington, D.C. On Saturday, you'd have to slit my throat to keep me from talking. And so, by the way, we were at that rally as the rallies were going on all over the world, where we were challenging this president to reveal his taxes. Every president since Nixon has done that. He has absolutely refused to do it. As a matter of fact, the first lie that he told was that it was under audit and that he would do it later on. And now we are all struggling to file our taxes, and many Americans, working Americans, middle-class Americans, are filing their taxes discovering that they have to pay more money than they thought they had to pay, and it's not easy. And here we have a president that's not a fine example of filing their income taxes. We know that we have to pay taxes in order to keep this country going and to manage everything from clean air and clean water and transportation and healthcare and all of that. And we don't mind doing that. We don't like it when we feel like they're charging us too much, and we will challenge that. But to have the President of the United States of America, who will not show you his taxes, and some of us believe that the reason he will not show it is because he doesn't pay any taxes. This president has used every loophole, every trick that could be used to avoid paying taxes. That little trick that he did about revealing his 2005 taxes was to make you believe, see, I filed my taxes. Well, that was what, 12 years ago? We want to know what you've been doing since that time. We know that he has the ability to carry over debt, which allows him to pay less and less. And he carries forward so much that he does not have to pay any. I think that's one of the reasons that he does not reveal his tax returns. But we need to know for a lot of reasons. We need to know who he is. We need to know whether or not he pays taxes. We need to know what kind of debt he's in. Because when we take a look at what debt he's holding, that helps us to understand whether or not he can be compromised because of the relationships that he has and borrowing money, etc. There is a story that yet to be confirmed, but it has been repeated over and over again, that he borrowed large amounts from the Russians in 2008 when we were going through our recession after we had that meltdown here in this country. And so we need to know these things about him. We need to understand more about who he is. And so we're going to keep pushing for him to reveal his taxes and let us know who he is, what he's all about, and his arrangements financially.